This is the State Farm postgame show.
Well, no doubt about it, the Broncos showed heart early, but Josh Allen and the Bills' response was simply, wait your turn, our time is now. And the Bills methodically picked apart the Broncos to win it 31-7. And a reminder, coming up next right here on CBS, the Formula E season rolls along in Mexico City. So tune in to the hand-cooked Mexico City E-Prix. Again, that's coming up next right here on CBS. And hello again, everyone, and welcome to the State Farm postgame show. Back here in Studio 43, JB, along with Coach Nate and Matt. Wait your turn. It's our time now.
You know, we talked to Sean in the pregame. When you go into that building, there's a comfort level that exists. There's a confidence that exists there. And I think that showed in the first half of this game. This game came out, they get hit in the mouth early with the big long pass here by Bo Nix, but they methodically kept it a running game, kicked the field goal, scored the touchdown, and just kind of have this sense that they are comfortable with who they are identity-wise and the fact that they're not going to push any panic buttons because time is on their side. And I think it is their time now. And we'll see, because the matchup that's going to be a big identifying tell will be from week 4, the Baltimore Ravens.
You said time is on their side. It certainly was. 41 minutes, 43 seconds of time of possession. They ran 30 more offensive plays than the Broncos. One of the other things Sean said in that interview you did with him prior to the game, Coach, they know who they are.
Yeah.
And it was clear with how they game planned today. They were going to run the football. They were going to play physical up front. And then Josh was going to come off of that, and he did in the second half, kind of going out there. On third down, Josh Allen, 7 of 8, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, perfect rating, 158.3. Let's take a look at some of what Josh was doing in the game today. We're going to look right here, off the play action. He's going down the field, climbs in the pocket, finds Dawson Knox right there on the little sail route. Beautiful throw. Here again, navigating the pocket, extending to his right, kind of hanging. This is 4th and 1. This was a play of the game here. The ability right there to keep the feet out of the end zone, make the catch, and then go over the top. This is excellent design by Joe Brady right here, getting the crossing route open to Curtis Samuel for the long touchdown. Just a masterclass in coming out with a game plan, executing it, imposing your will. Well done by the Buffalo Bills.
The growth and maturity of Josh Allen has been beautiful to watch. You know, I've been waiting 3 hours to get this off my chest. I made a mistake picking the Broncos. Where's my camera? Let me just talk to the Bills fans. Hey, Bills fans, I apologize. You know what I mean? And listen, you can hold on to your Bills Mafia membership card for another week. You know, we have the Ravens and your Bills, and we'll wait to see who I'll pick then. But let's just give credit where credit is due. The Buffalo Bills were dominant. Yeah, the Broncos are the young pups, right? And credit to them. One hell of a season.
Right.
But there's a difference between being a young pup on the road and a big dog at home. That was big dog football. You said it. They were physical from the jump. And both teams came out clacking. We saw the helmets banging.
Yes.
But it was the Buffalo Bills who basically stood on their 10 toes and said, this is our field. We're bigger, we're faster, we're stronger, and we have the best player in football. They believe that's Josh Allen.
Go ahead, Bill.
Well, I mean, I guess go back to the same thing. I think, like Sean said, we're comfortable with who we are. We know who we are. And I think it goes back to those week 4 and 5. They sat there and lost to Baltimore. They lost to Houston. And Baltimore embarrassed them. Baltimore did to them what they just did to Denver. They ran for 200 yards against them. And today, the Buffalo Bills ran for 200 yards against them. And I think so their identity was built from that week on. And I think they're very, very comfortable and confident in their ability to match up this time against Baltimore. I think they're embracing this next matchup.
Speaking of Bills Mafia, it's clear that Nate likes Buffalo as well, too. Take a look at Nate's red jacket that he gave to... Well, Nate, you tell the story.
Yeah, shout out to my guy, Justice Stephone. He has his drink of choice. That's all he drinks, by the way. He got the top hat, rocking the Burleson coat. I was there in Buffalo, and he was screaming and yelling, saying, give me your coat, give me your coat. I said, I'll give you my coat if your Bills win and beat the Chiefs. And then the fans, they started yelling, shake his hand, shake his hand. So I had to shake his hand. I lost the bet,
Nate,
and I gave that coat up.
Nate, that coat has been altered.
Oh, yeah, in a lot of different ways, JP. In a lot of different ways. So I believe the fabric is different. It fits different. Justin, you go ahead and keep it, do your thing. And I remember writing him a note when I sent that coat. I said, this could be the magical piece that you need to cling on to that will allow your team to ride something other than the Bills.
He gets a reprieve. Bills Mafia owes him a reprieve.
Well, I think
because I gave that code up, right?
You did. I mean,
they got to give me a pass on picking the Broncos.
Yeah.
Come on, Bills Mafia.
And look where they
you
put
picked
him.
the Chiefs the last time we were there too, so you need to keep picking opposite if Bills Mafia
That
wins.
might
If
be
they want.
it.
Maybe.
You know, but shout out to Justin. Listen, my man didn't even go to the game
Right.
when I gave up that jacket.
How about
He
that?
was outside in
Got
the
good
coat.
tickets today.
I was actually concerned for him after the game. I was like, he's still out there?
Look at where that coat got him
That's
seated
what I'm
today.
saying,
No question
JB.
about it. Hey, let's take a look at the AFC playoff picture. Matt, put a little thumbnail on one matchup. Nate, you do the thumbnail
Okay.
for the other matchup.
Well, I'll start with the 1 seed Kansas City Chiefs and the Houston Texans. I mean, I'm looking at this. The Kansas City Chiefs been sitting on their couch now for 20-some days preparing for this game. You give Andy Reid time to game plan, right? His stats coming off the bye historically are incredible. So I like what they're doing, getting their guys healthy. I think they needed rest. They were beat up, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Chris Jones, get him healthy. He's going to be a disruptor. Houston is going to have to force turnovers like they did yesterday to find a way to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. That defense has to show up, and C.J. Stroud is going to have to play above the level he played during the regular season like he did yesterday. He's got to elevate the guys
In the
around
second
him.
half.
In the second half. He played excellent in the second half.
Baltimore, then Buffalo.
That's right. The Ravens and the Bills, and it is a rematch. And if you remember week 4, it was the Baltimore Ravens. They were leaning on their superstar running back, Derrick Henry. Just check him out. I mean, of course, give credit to the trenches, but once he gets going, the big fella is hard to stop. He's so big, so fast, and he is going to give this offense that element they need to do exactly what Lamar's doing here, which is pass the ball. And this game is going to be decided in the trenches. We saw what the Buffalo Bills did today. We're familiar with the Baltimore Ravens and how they can control the game. But what happens is, as these teams dominate on the ground, those shots down the field, they start to open up later in the game. And credit to the Buffalo Bills. Josh didn't force those balls down the field early on.
No.
But once that Broncos defense started to have their eyes peeking in the backfield, that's when he started to take advantage of those big plays. And Lamar's been doing the same all season long. This is going to be one of the best games we've ever seen. And two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL that just gave us two of the best seasons from the quarterback position. I can't wait to watch this.
In the duel, again, we're talking about Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. We're talking about James Cook and Josh Allen.
Yeah.
These matchups are identical. They have almost the same type of personalities to them. They want to run the football. They got quarterbacks that can make plays outside the pocket, extend plays, be dynamic in their own right. You talk about right here, the MVP. Which one is it? These are two guys that have taken their teams and put their teams on their backs. Derrick Henry has been the counterpart to Lamar Jackson. James Cook has been the counterpart to Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, this is going to be a classic matchup.
And it's two defenses that have found their way, right?
Yeah.
The Baltimore
No doubt.
Ravens finding their way mid-season, getting better. John Harbaugh's done an excellent job with that football team of getting them to peak at the right time. Sean McDermott's done the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, getting guys back healthy like Matt Milano, that was a big impact for them in the middle of the field. I think you've got two defenses that are better than they were at the beginning of the year.
And speaking of that, I'm curious to find out what the Bills will do when they face Lamar Jackson. Listen, it's not their thing to blitz. They're going to sit back and they're going to call defenses and try to confuse the quarterback with the way that they call coverages. But when you have Lamar Jackson, do you want to sit back and give him all the time in the world? Or do you want to try to speed up that clock when you're going up against them? That's the chess match that these coaches are going to have to play when game planning for each other.
And it's
Neither have worked this year.
Neither have worked, right?
And it's a benefit to have played them earlier this year.
For sure.
Played them one time.
Boom.
Because
For sure.
you also now can understand what the speed of the game and the speed of that offense really is.
Yeah.
You know what? I thought we had 40 seconds, but Drew all of a sudden jumped right to 15 seconds. So I'm going to hold that question that I have about some pluses. You talked about running the ball effectively as the State Farm postgame show continues right after this. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and a California fire chief's unbelievable story from the Inferno. That'll be followed by 3 episodes of NCIS Origins. That's all coming up tonight right here on CBS. Let's take a gander at the NFC playoff picture. Of course, we've got the matchups coming up. It'll be Minnesota, LA Rams, Washington, Tampa, Green Bay, Philadelphia. Coach, get us started with Philly and Green Bay.
Yeah, Philly and Green Bay, nice game that you're going to watch. I think the biggest news here is that Philadelphia, remember, they rested everybody everybody in Week 18. Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith are all going to be healthy, but the biggest one is this guy right here. That's going to be Jalen Hurts. He's missed 2 games, but he's back now. He's the engineer of that offense. He does so many things. His decision-making has been spot on. His ability to extend plays, and certainly his ability to run with the football has been there. And remember, this is also a Philadelphia defense. It's #1 in the league. Vic Fangio's got them playing at a very high level. On the other side with Green Bay, Jordan Love. The question is his elbow. He says it's okay. He's going to be able to go in this game. Christian Watson is out. Josh Jacobs, I think, will be a big part of this game.
Yep.
Maybe the best 2 running backs that's still left in this game right now, Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs. Big task, I think, for Green Bay. They're 2-3 in their last 5 games. I like Philadelphia in this game. I think they're healthy and they're rested, and they got, I think, one of the best offensive lines in football.
Yeah, and I'm looking at that game tonight in Washington going down to Tampa, taking on the Buccaneers. One of the themes that we've seen in each of the winning teams in the playoffs so far has been the ability to run from the quarterback position, right? That's shown up. C.J. Stroud, I even think of that big scramble. Jaden Daniels' ability to not only throw the ball, being clutch in late game situations, but taking off like right here and running with the football. That's going to be big tonight. I expect him to come out, run the football early, get him into a rhythm, and then find that passing game a little later on. On the other side, Baker Mayfield's had an unbelievable season. He's gritty. He's tough. He has the guys around him playing well. I think in the run game, they've got the combination of the 2 backs. In the pass game, Jalen McMillan, Mike Evans, those 2 going down vertical passing game. It's going to be a fun one to watch tonight.
Yeah, and how about the Minnesota Vikings versus the Los Angeles Rams? A little bit of a road game for both teams because of the change of venue given the wildfires that are happening in Los Angeles. But this is going to be a good one. You know, Sam Darnold in that offense for the Minnesota Vikings, they were playing so good all season long. But there's a lot of people that will point to Week 18, that last game up against the Lions, where they couldn't close out those drives in the red zone. They collapsed the pocket, made him feel uncomfortable. He was just slightly off. I know he has a lot to play for. Not only do they feel like they are a Super Bowl team, but also Sam Darnold is playing for security. Yeah. We were talking about them signing him early in the season, saying get him on a discount. And then after the Lions game, people are questioning whether he is going to be the quarterback of the future. And on the flip side, the Los Angeles Rams got hot at the right time. They have shown us that they could win in close games, beat them up football games. But remember that game up against the Bills where they were going back and forth? Both of the teams scored plus 40 points. So the Rams really know how to play ball and win in different ways. This is going to be a good one in AZ.
Probably a question that pertains to all of you, but let me start with the head coach. When you talk about a change of venue, they're pleased now, the league, from a standpoint that it is going to be a good crowd there, a nice turnout. But talk about the challenges of moving the venue.
Well, moving the venue is one thing. I think the Rams did a great job. I should. Stan Kroenke brought almost the whole families with the teams down there. So
good move.
There's an element of closeness that's there. And as Nate talked about, the one thing last week is the Rams usually like a bye week. So Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, they all rested.
Yep.
And so they're ready to go. And also, this is the mentor and the student. Remember, Kevin O'Connell was there with the Rams assistant. Sean McVay's been here before. And Sean McVay won this game earlier in the season. So it's the mentor and the student. The student's got a chance the second time around to maybe right the wrong. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, now we get an opportunity to hear from the grammarian who is on top of everything.
Grammarian?
Yes, indeed.
I thought he was African-American. I'm tripping.
You know what? I can normally stay on point. It was pretty good. Let's get over to Jonathan Jones with the latest.
Oh, man. All right, JB. All right, Nate. With Mike Vrabel taking the job in New England, all eyes now turn to the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy. His contract actually expires on Tuesday. So he and Jerry Jones, they've been talking, but I'm told you should not expect any white smoke out of Dallas tonight. Folks around the league still think McCarthy is going to return to Dallas, but the longer this goes on, it just makes you wonder. Surely Jerry Jones has a plan if McCarthy is not signed back. All right, Ben Johnson, he did an outstanding job in his interviews this weekend, I'm told. He's well-liked and at or near the top of the list with the Bears, Jaguars, and Raiders. Tom Brady wants him in Las Vegas. Now the Lions offensive coordinator, he's going to shut down any talk of any other jobs. He's going to lock in on Detroit's opponent for next week. I'm told Johnson's mind is wide open. And lastly, Deshaun Watson had surgery again last week, this time on a second Achilles rupture. He tore it in October, he had surgery, then he rolled his ankle while in Miami, and he wound up tearing it again. It is going to be very interesting to see if the Browns can or will determine if Watson suffered that injury in the course of his rehab or if it's a non-football injury. Those answers could establish how much the team's insurance policy will pay out for any missed time. Talking with folks, I'd be very surprised if he's ultimately physically able to play next season. The Browns are certain, JB, to take a quarterback at number 2.
I'm really glad you couldn't tell that I was blushing when Nate made that comment.
That was something else.
Tell me about it. Jonathan, thank you so very much. Hey, impactful certainly is the headline here as the Buffalo Bills won handily over the Denver Broncos. 31-7, the final there as they move on to meet the Baltimore Ravens. After the game, it was head coach Sean McDermott addressing his locker room.
Hey, I'm going to tell you what, man. How about those Buffalo Bills right here? Prepare all week, man. You prepare all week for it. You come out with a mindset, feeding each other, offense, defense, special teams, working together as one. That's what a great football team does. Well done, man. Great job. All right, hey, O-line and D-line. It's going through you. I'm just telling you right now. It's going through you every dang week. Every dang week. 227 yards rushing. Great job. All right. One game at a time, right? One game at a time. I need y'all to get your rest, right? Get your rest. We'll find out when we play later tonight. We'll let you know. Could be a short week, right? Could be a short week. Got to make sure we understand what's at stake right here, right? Keep getting better every week. I'm so proud of you guys across the board. Everyone in here. Everyone. Great organizational win. Josh, go ahead.
Here we go. Hey, earn the right for another week. Let's keep getting better, all right?
Love to see it.
I tell you what, those two are bonded right there at the hip, Josh Allen and Sean McDermott. And I think the one thing I took out of that right there, the first thing he talked about, 223 yards rushing. Okay? Going against a team that last week, 299 yards rushing. This game we played in the trenches, big plays being made by quarterbacks, and it's going to who's going to be the last man standing.
Wow, Coach, you talked about it, the rushing attack.
Yeah.
This is your guy, James Cook. You know, you mentioned what Derrick Henry is doing, sitting next to Lamar Jackson, but I don't believe we talk about this duo enough, Coach.
No, I mean, seriously, when you talk about James Cook and you talk about Derrick Henry, they're different runners, no question about it. But the one thing about James Cook, his compliment to Josh Allen, he's a different runner than Lamar, but they complement each other. It's a running game by duel. And I'll tell you, when you have a quarterback and a running back, it's hard to defend, especially if you can spread it out. And that's the one thing right now with Josh Allen. He can also take that ball and throw it down the field. And I'll tell you what, both these guys extend plays, they throw the ball, and I'll tell you what, the running games are dynamic.
So it's the same 4 teams we had in the division round last year, same 4 quarterbacks, right? And they've all played each other at this time. Here's the handshakes from earlier in the year, showing a little bit of love. Both these guys at this time didn't know, this is week 4, that they'd be square in the middle of the MVP race. And then these guys in week 16 seeing each other. So they're going to see each other again now in the playoffs. You know, how much love are you giving somebody at the end of the game? I was always kind of, hey, good game, good luck, stay healthy, take care.
That's it.
That's kind of,
That's it.
Yeah,
you leave it there.
Yeah, that was kind of.
I might see you later on.
I might see you later on, something like that. So.
Were you sincere when you said,
stay healthy? I was sincere about that.
But everything else.
That was about it. You know what I mean? It was that was.
I have to close out on some of the points that you delineated. What an effective and well-executed ground game can bring about. We saw that today. You talked about controlling the line of scrimmage. 1, go ahead.
and number 2, it helps it sets the tempo.
Yep, sets the tempo.
Number 3 is it helps your offensive line, it helps your defense. And the other thing, JB, it keeps the other team, the offense, off the field.
Well, so
maybe I've got a long list about the pass game I'll have for you. There's about 12 points on that one.
I got my list on end zone celebrations. You know, I'm a diva, so.
You know what? And you were moving pretty nicely the last time I saw you, and I shot you a note. And what did you say?
About what?
You have some good moves still, right?
Oh, yeah, of course. I can still move and groove, JB. Like you in the 70s.
Hey, I can do 6 inches worth of moves right now pretty good. Hey, folks, we will step aside. Looking forward to seeing you next week as we continue with the postseason here on CBS. Enjoy the rest of the day.